Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt constantly drained, emotionally exhausted, or unsure of where you stand? Well, you're not alone. It's a situation that many people find themselves in, and often it comes down to one key issue: being involved with someone who isn't truly contributing to the relationship in a healthy way. In this video, we're going to talk about something that can help you avoid these emotional pitfalls: recognizing the signs of a low-value woman. Why is this important? Because recognizing these traits early on can save you from unnecessary heartache, confusion, and wasted time. You see, in the world of relationships, it's easy to get caught up in someone's charm or appearance. But what really matters in the long run is how they treat you and how they contribute to the relationship. The problem is, sometimes these behaviors aren't immediately obvious, and they often only reveal themselves after a pattern has already formed. But don't worry, in this video, we're going to break down 5 critical signs that can help you protect yourself from the emotional turmoil caused by these types of individuals. Whether you're dating, in a relationship, or just trying to figure out how to build healthier connections, knowing these signs can be the difference between finding true love and staying stuck in a toxic situation. So stay tuned, because these 5 signs are ones you won't want to miss. 1. She is consistently self-centered and lacks empathy. One of the first signs of a low-value woman is her consistent self-centeredness and complete lack of empathy. This behavior might not always be overt, but it shows up in subtle ways. A self-centered person tends to turn every conversation back to themselves, no matter what the topic is. When you talk about something important to you, whether it's an achievement, a challenge, or something that's deeply bothering you, she won't listen with genuine care or concern. Instead, she'll find a way to pivot the conversation back to her own experiences or problems, making everything about her. It can feel like you're constantly talking to a brick wall, where no matter how much you share, you're never truly heard. This lack of empathy isn't just about ignoring your feelings in the moment. It's a deeper ingrained pattern. She might even brush off your emotions, making light of them or belittling your feelings. For example, if you're dealing with a stressful situation at work and you mention it to her, instead of offering support or a listening ear, she might say something like, "That's nothing. You should see what I'm dealing with." This type of behavior can make you feel insignificant, as if your emotions don't matter in the relationship. Over time, this will erode the connection between you both and leave you feeling drained, unsupported, and emotionally distant. People who lack empathy are more likely to manipulate situations to fit their needs, leaving you with no room to express your own. In healthy relationships, empathy plays a key role in understanding, supporting, and truly connecting with one another. Without it, the foundation of a meaningful bond crumbles, leaving one person constantly giving while the other takes. So, if you find yourself always giving emotional energy and never getting anything in return, it might be time to step back and reassess whether this relationship is really benefiting you. 2. She is dishonest and manipulative. Dishonesty and manipulation go hand in hand, and they're 2 of the most toxic traits a low-value woman can have. At first, you might not notice, but over time, the subtle lies and half-truths start to build up. It's not always about big, glaring lies. It could be small, seemingly harmless ones. But when they become a pattern, they can leave you feeling unsure of what's real and what isn't. For example, she might promise to meet you at a certain time, only to cancel last minute with a weak excuse, only to find out later that she was actually out with someone else. Or maybe she tells you she's going out with friends, when in reality, she's doing something that goes against the trust you've built. While it might seem insignificant at first, these actions undermine the trust you have in her and set a dangerous precedent. But dishonesty isn't the only issue. Manipulation is where things really get toxic. A manipulative woman is always trying to control the situation to her advantage, often using guilt or pressure to get what she wants. She might use passive-aggressive behavior, saying things like, "If you really cared, you'd do this for me," or "Everyone else does this for me. Why can't you?" These manipulative tactics slowly wear down your emotional defenses and force you into compromising your own needs just to keep the peace. The problem is, over time, these manipulations become the normal dynamic in the relationship, leaving you in a constant state of confusion and self-doubt. You might even start second-guessing your own feelings, wondering if you're being too sensitive. But deep down, you know something isn't right. Dishonesty and manipulation aren't just harmful there. Controlling behaviors that prevent both individuals in the relationship from being able to speak openly, trust one another, or grow together. So, if you notice that someone you're with frequently twists the truth or tries to play on your emotions to get their way, it's time to take a step back and reassess if this person is genuinely invested in you or if they're only interested in getting what they want, regardless of the damage it causes. 3. She constantly plays the victim. Asterisk. One of the most draining behaviors a low-value woman can exhibit is playing the victim in every situation, regardless of the circumstances. This pattern of behavior is rooted in an inability or unwillingness to take responsibility for her own actions, and it often leads to a toxic dynamic in the relationship. Every small setback or negative experience she faces becomes something she can blame on someone else, never her fault. For example, if she loses her job, she'll blame her boss for being unfair, not her own performance. She has a falling out with friends, it's always their fault for not understanding her. The common thread is that she refuses to look inward and acknowledge any role she might have played in the situation. This constant victim mentality can be incredibly frustrating because it means, you're never dealing with the actual problems, the aftermath of her deflecting responsibility. Over time, this behavior can cause a deep sense of imbalance in the relationship. You start to feel like you're the one who has to pick up the pieces. Listen to her complaints and reassure her that everything will be okay, while she never truly addresses her own role in any issues. Her tendency to always point the finger at others for her struggles means that any attempts at constructive conversation or resolving conflicts are quickly shut down. Instead of focusing on solutions, you're stuck in a cycle of endlessly supporting her emotional needs without any real change. The worst part? This leaves little room for you to express your own struggles or challenges, because she's always too consumed by her own problems. Eventually, this dynamic can lead to resentment, as you feel like you're constantly the one doing the emotional labor while she remains stuck in a state of self-pity. In healthy relationships, both partners are willing to reflect on their actions and take accountability. But when one person constantly plays the victim, it's a clear sign of emotional immaturity and a lack of self-awareness, which will only harm the growth of the relationship in the long run. 4. She is highly insecure and constantly seeks validation. Asterisk. Insecurity is one of the most obvious signs of a low-value woman, and it often manifests in her constant need for validation and reassurance. A woman who is insecure will often seek out constant affirmation from others to fill a void that she feels inside. Whether it's seeking compliments on her appearance, constantly asking if you love her, or fishing for praise in conversations, her need for validation never seems to end. This behavior can be exhausting because no matter how much you reassure her, it's never enough. She might say things like, "Do you think I'm pretty today?" Or, "Are you sure you love me?" Because deep down, she doesn't believe it herself and needs you to constantly reinforce it. At first, you might be happy to provide this reassurance, thinking it's just a part of her personality or her way of seeking affection. However, over time, this constant need for validation becomes emotionally draining, and you might begin to feel like your efforts to make her feel secure are never truly appreciated. What's even more concerning is that an insecure person often looks for external validation from multiple sources, not just from you. If she is always posting photos on social media to garner likes and comments or asking others for opinions on everything she does, it's a sign that her self-worth is tied to what others think of her. This creates a dynamic where she depends on others to feel good about herself, and without that external reinforcement, She becomes anxious, moody, or even manipulative in her pursuit of validation. In relationships, this can create an unhealthy cycle where you're constantly put in a position to reassure her. But nothing ever feels like enough. It's important to understand that while some degree of seeking reassurance is natural, excessive dependency on external validation is a reflection of deep-seated insecurity, which only becomes more intense over time if left unchecked. Instead of building a strong, confident connection where both partners support each other's growth, you find yourself constantly feeding her insecurities and struggling to maintain your own sense of emotional stability. In a healthy relationship, both individuals should have their own sense of self-worth, independent of the constant need for reassurance. But if she's constantly looking to you or others to tell her she's enough, it's a major sign of emotional dependency and insecurity that will only continue to strain the relationship. 5. She is never satisfied, always demanding more. A low-value woman often exhibits an overwhelming sense of entitlement, which is most evident in her constant dissatisfaction with what she has and her demand for more, no matter what you give her. This is not limited to material things but extends to emotional and relational needs as well. No matter how much you do for her, it never feels like enough. If you plan a special date, she might appreciate it for a moment, but soon after, she's already focusing on how the evening could have been better or what you could have done differently. You might buy her a thoughtful gift only for her to tell you that it's not quite what she wanted or that it's not enough. The constant demand for more can make you feel like you're always chasing a moving target. At first, you might chalk it up to her wanting more attention or just wanting to be treated well. However, over time, it becomes clear that she's not just seeking attention or affections. She's looking to control the dynamic in the relationship by setting impossible standards. She might expect you to drop everything for her whenever she needs something, but when you need support, she's nowhere to be found. This sense of entitlement often goes hand in hand with a lack of gratitude. She doesn't acknowledge or appreciate the things you've done for her, and instead focuses on what you haven't done. It can leave you feeling unappreciated, as though your efforts are never acknowledged or validated. This ongoing dissatisfaction creates an unbalanced relationship, where you're always in a position of giving and she's always taking, leaving little space for you to feel emotionally fulfilled. Eventually, this pattern erodes any sense of trust and connection, because it makes you feel like your efforts are being ignored or undervalued. In healthy relationships, both partners give and take in equal measure, finding fulfillment and contentment in each other's presence. But when one partner is constantly demanding more, it leads to an unhealthy dynamic that can drain you emotionally and mentally. You find that no matter what you do, it's never enough for her. It's important to recognize this behavior as a red flag. The problem isn't with your ability to love or care for her, with her inability to be satisfied and her demand for more than you can give. This is a sign of emotional immaturity. It's one of the most toxic behaviors in any relationship. Conclusion. Now that we've gone through these 5 signs of a low-value woman, I want you to take a moment and reflect on your own relationships. Are you seeing any of these behaviors in the person you're with right now? Or maybe you've noticed them in past relationships. The key takeaway here is that your time, emotional energy, and mental well-being are far too valuable to be spent on someone who consistently brings you down or makes you feel less than you are. Recognizing these signs early can save you from years of heartache, confusion, and frustration. The truth is, you deserve someone who uplifts you, respects you, and contributes positively to your life. So don't settle for anything less than that. If you're in a relationship where these signs are present, take a step back and ask yourself if it's worth continuing to invest your time and energy. True, fulfilling relationships are built on mutual respect, understanding, and shared values. If you find yourself constantly giving without receiving or feeling emotionally drained, it might be time to reassess and prioritize your own well-being. I hope this video has opened your eyes to the red flags you might be missing. and that it helps you make better decisions when it comes to choosing the people you let into your life. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever experienced any of these signs? Let me know. Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching, and remember, protecting yourself from toxic relationships is the first step toward building a healthy, happy future.